WHI. I'm also one of the founding investors of WHI. First of all, God bless New Orleans, God bless the state of Louisiana, and God bless our Lieutenant Governor, Billy Knight, for being here with us today. I'd like to bring up our host here in NOLA, Pastor George Green. Let's bring him up. He is with, of course, Minister of House of Healing and a WHI investor, Pastor Green. He's going to lead us in opening prayer. Thank you so much.
I'm going to open up us in prayer and thank God for this opportunity. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for coming and participating and see this great venture God has allowed us to produce. Let's bow our heads. Father God, we thank you in the most holy, wonderful, matchless, almighty, all-seeing God. We thank you, God, that as we gather here, as you illuminate our mind, we thank you for vision. Not insight, but we thank you for vision. And you say without a vision, the people perish. So we thank you for this vision, God. We thank you, God, for bringing people from near and far. We thank you for your hand is upon us, your blessings upon us. This is a move of God. So we surrender all of the atmosphere. We surrender our mind, our will to this great movement that you allowed us to participate in during this dispensation. We thank you now. We thank you for the leaders. We thank you for the Lieutenant Governor taking the time out to be a part of this great movement. Bless him. In Yahshua Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Glory to God.
At this time, we have the host pastor, Pastor Lionel Roberts.
To God be the glory. I just want to thank God for you guys just being here. We're really elated to have you here and all that you're already doing. So for us bringing this together. And we're just honored. As you can see, I'm basically speechless, right? Because this is a real big deal. So we thank God. We're Holy Anointed House of Prayer and Church. We love the Anointed God. It's truly a full good.
Thank you, Pastor Bob. I'm a broadcast journalist by profession. The motto of my show, it's been on air about 20 years, is come clean or stay away nasty. I say that because about 12, 13 years ago when the BP oil spill hit, I started seeing this guy on TV, on CNN, on MSNBC, on Fox. Whoever would hear him, he had a message, and he was fighting for not only the state of Louisiana, but just crying foul of what BP had done to the coast of Louisiana. His name is Billy Nungesser. At the time, he was the police jury president down in Plaquemine Parish. I don't know about Plaquemine, seafood capital of Louisiana, and petroleum capital. In fact, they have a festival called the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival. Am I right about that? So I tell you what, folks, without further ado, when he first got into office, I called him because on my radio program, I wanted to have a connection with the Baton Rouge and certainly what was going on the higher levels of government. So I called him up. He took my call, and we created a segment called A Moment with the Lieutenant Governor. He's been on my show consistently for nearly 8 years now. He comes on every first Monday of the month to reciprocate his involvement on the show. Whenever he has an opportunity to spend money on my program, he does so. So he believes in spending money. He believes in friendship. He believes in building relationships. And without further ado, I'll give y'all Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser and the next governor that we have been introduced with of the state of Louisiana. Y'all stand up for my friend.
Thank you. Please sit down. Thank you. Tony and I have been friends for years, and I'm honored to be here and see how we can participate and help this partnership. Coming out of COVID, we are starting now to plan our missions around the world. And we found firsthand the best way to promote tourism for Louisiana and open up other doors is when we go to these other countries and we bring the entertainment, the food, and our culture. I'm also over the arts, and we give out grants for the arts programs. And one of the programs that's worked really well and may open some ideas to what y'all are doing is we actually sponsor people that go teach in France, and then they come back and teach French in the Lafayette area in those French immersion school programs. So that has been a partnership that's worked for many, many years. And I think anytime we can take young people to see another culture, another way of life. It expands their world, both in what they've been able to do with their life and their career. So as I say that, although I'm just over tourism and the arts grants here in Louisiana, I'm open to helping in any way I can in this partnership. And I also mentioned a minute ago, as I was coming here from Baton Rouge this morning, I had a couple other stops. I heard the Ag Commissioner, Mike Strain, a friend of mine, on the radio talking about the food of the world and with new restrictions and sanctions, how that's going to affect feeding people all over the world and how it could have a long-term effect on where food is sold or exported or imported to or from. So I mentioned that it would be a great opportunity to bring him in at our next gathering to see what connections there may be, because he's been in office a lot longer than me and has taken his mission around to different countries where we import or export food products to, and I know that's one of your plans. So I'm here to listen and learn and see how I can help and make any connections and hopefully put a mission together where we can go down there and talk about tourism, but also any other businesses or connections we can make to help facilitate that connection. So I'm just honored to be here with you and my good friends. So thank you very much.
I'll give him another round of applause. Many places good being here today. Yesterday when we started the legislative session, he was on Capitol Hill. He should have been there today, but he made time because I asked him to be here. And we're so thankful that you're here, Lieutenant Governor. I want to bring up next my business partner out of Alexandria, Louisiana. We're the owners of Radio 2. We have a couple of stations in Alexandria, Louisiana. Martin Johnson was the first African-American to be president of the Central Louisiana Chamber of Commerce, nearly 150-year-old institution of commerce in, of course, that city. He was also the first black man in Central Louisiana to start as a teller at a bank. He's a graduate of Southern University, I need to say that, but to start as a teller and work his way to be the president of Regions Bank. So we're proud of him of that as well. He's done many things in Central Louisiana. He has a vision, and the vision along with, of course, our president of Award Holders International is to help Africa, which is still being raped and pillaged to this day. Without any further ado, the CFO of Award Holders International, my good friend, Mark Johnson.
All right, guys. Scott Karen, our Chief Operating Officer, is here. Scott, please stand. Originally from Provo, Utah. He lives in the Seattle, Washington area now. Lieutenant Governor, 2 years ago when we went to Tanzania, Scott came over and told me he was going to probably give us 2 years with what we were doing. He's practically moved over there now, okay? So I think that's off the table. I want to thank everybody for coming out to hear about our company and what we're doing. We formed our company in 2018, Award Holders International, and it was at the height of the trade war between the United States and China. And Lloyd, our CEO, our Chief Executive Officer, he's traveled, over 200 countries in the world, he's traveled to over 100 of them. When he was chairman and CEO of Maytag, he closed the deal with a company called Ranchita, and that created a very good relationship between the U.S. and China. And so Lloyd has been on the Beijing Economic Advisory Council since that time. When we formed our company, he and Scott went over to take a look at us building bridges between the United States and China, Africa, and the rest of the world. And when they went over, we got engaged by a province in China called Huaibei, and they asked us to not just assist them with the U.S., they wanted a direct relationship with Africa. So we went over to Tanzania in January 2020 with a plan to assist our client. And when we got over there, Lieutenant Governor, we're connected at the highest level of government, the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Industry and Trade, and all of the key business leaders. Our company, we have a president of China, Dr. James Luan. We have a president of India, E.G. Sampray. And now I'm proud to tell you that we have a president of our company, a new entity that we formed in January 2020, Award Holders Tanzania, Godfrey Sembe. Since we've been on the ground over there, and it's over 2 years now, we were asked not to just do trade between Africa and China. They asked us to assist them with industrialization of their agriculture sector. And they asked us to start with cashew nuts. And so that's what we've done. So for the last 2 years, we've become among the world's experts in cashew nuts. I want to tell you today, since the 2 years that we've been on the ground, when we got there, we knew that we had some work to do once we took this on. So I want to let you know that we have our buyer here, J.F. Braun, represented by Steve O'Mara. Steve, would you stand? He's the president. I'm going to ask Stephen to come up in just a second. You come on up now, Stephen. I want you to have a few comments. Yeah. But Steve is part of the Gallup Global Group, and it's a multi-billion-dollar company. They buy goods, and they ship goods and services, goods and products all over the world. So I want to give him a chance to say a few things. I want you to know, Lieutenant Governor, we're very committed to what we're doing, and we certainly understand the tourism component of your responsibilities. We're working with TATO, the Tanzania Association of Tour Operators. And guess what? They have millions of people that go into Tanzania, Mount Kilimanjaro, Lake Victoria, and all of the other great wonders that are over there. Just beautiful, beautiful land and opportunities over there. We are talking to them about bilateral tourism as well. So we want to certainly help with tourism coming into our New Orleans International Airport, and we look forward to you joining us over there to help us promote our great state. With that, I'm going to bring Stephen up, and after that, Lloyd will come up and talk about our project.
Thank you, Lloyd. So we are going to share that presentation with everybody?
Yes, we will share.
All right, that's great.
Do you want
So, no. I just want to prepare everybody to be really have your socks knocked off. And I want to tell you all something that I've said to a few people here, and I've told this story a few times. And you know how you always say, well, you get worried, you've told the story one too many, you get sick of the story? I'm not getting sick of the story because it's really amazing. It's really amazing. Lloyd and I think Scott and Martin reached out to me 2.5 years ago on a phone call. And my first reaction was, this guy, who is this? Another guy calling me about cashews in Africa. And I get a lot of these phone calls, and I give everybody the same amount of information. And every time I gave Lloyd information, he accomplished it, and he came back for more. And we just kept talking and talking and talking. And it's so important to my business what's going on in Africa. And to be a part of it is really, really important for us as our organization to be the first adopters. And we're very happy to be participating in it. And be the buyers of the product and help distribute it around the United States. So, Lloyd, is it time for you to introduce everybody here to the point? It's time.
Lieutenant Governor, welcome. I'm so happy to be in your state, and I'm so warmed by you taking time to be with us this afternoon. And so, what are we talking about? We're talking about industrialization. But what is industrialization? People see it as building plants, equipment, and that is true. But industrialization is about commerce, economic activity. Right? If you have buildings and equipment and you don't have commerce and economic activity, they will sit idle. Many have tried to industrialize Africa. And they go in with an idea that they can invest in to extract out. We are investing in to build and connect Africa with the global markets in the world. And guess what, Lieutenant Governor? We want to start with your great state. We want to start with We invite you to join us. We invite you, this state, to be the epicenter of bilateral commerce between Africa and the USA. We've asked the Honorable Toyo Cantrell if the city of New Orleans would want to participate as a sister city. We're asking you, with all of your contacts and resources, to consider being a sister state, not just to Dar es Salaam, but to the country of Tanzania. We will share with you what the significance of that means. It is a road to be traveled. It's a road that has tremendous benefits. Not that we won't face barriers along the way. So let us share with you some of what we see, and we're inviting you to join us. AJ, please. So if you can see the screen, basically what we're talking about is the idea of a sister-state relationship. Louisiana with Tanzania. We're talking about a sister port relationship. The port of New Orleans with the port of Dar es Salaam. We will be visiting the port tomorrow. They have open arms to look at how we can partner together to start bilateral trade between country to country. We're talking about being a Tanzanutz market development area. Tanzanutz, first product we will be industrializing out of Africa. Cashew nuts. They're the best cashew nuts in the world. But I want to assure you, Lieutenant Governor, that's the tip of the iceberg. That the opportunity is vast beyond that. And this is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. Okay, so we're talking about tourism and cultural exchange, and we know that's very dear to your heart. Cultural exchange, connecting people from around the world through Louisiana. Next slide. Okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking about value-added goods and industrial products. Moving from commodities to value-added goods from the fields, fertile soils of Tanzania. This may have application in Louisiana, and we would be very much willing to talk about this in your great state. But the idea of moving from commodity sales to value-added consumer and industrial products. So what does that mean? Next slide. So I'll give you an example, Lieutenant Governor, of this one crop. Today, Tanzania harvests 250,000 metric tons of what are called RCMs, raw cashew nuts. That's a lot. Now, here's the interesting thing. They sell those at auction for $1 per kilo. That means that they get $250 million of economic activity from their crop. But, next slide, if they industrialize, and we are there to partner with them to move in this direction, that same crop is worth $3.2 billion. You see, Lieutenant Governor, it's about economic activity that expands the pie. Expands it in a way that's inclusive to farmers, supply chain partners, villagers, everyday citizens, not just the rich getting richer. Now, we believe in flow-down economics. We believe that we can create economic value at the highest level and share it throughout the entire value chain so all benefit. Now, interestingly, what Tanzania is doing is going from 250,000 metric tons to 1 million metric tons of harvest. That same harvest at 1 million metric tons is worth $16 billion. Now, here's the interesting thing, Lieutenant Governor. That's in a country that has $64 billion GDP. It makes a difference. One crop. Now, we're going to talk about what that means to Louisiana in just a minute, but let's continue the journey. Next slide. So, what's important in industrialization is that points of difference. Best quality, best product, reliable supply chain, buyers, Stephen, J.F. Braun, retailers, consumers, but buying branded product. We are introducing Tanzanutz. Tanzanutz from the fertile soils of Tanzania. And we're bringing it to America and around the world. We offer that you participate with us in this, and we'll show you the implications of that. We have a brand, we have a logo, and we have significant opportunity. Next slide. We have great packaging. This will be the packaging on retail shelves. Next slide. This packaging is powerful. It speaks to the messaging that we want to get: quality, and it speaks to inclusion. Next slide. This is a lineup of the product set that we will have. Next slide. This is the container that we will ship our products from Dar es Salaam to the port of New Orleans. Now, Lieutenant Governor, that's the container. That's the container, sir. The Lieutenant Governor says he likes that, we like that. Can you imagine, and this will be historic in Tanzania, when we load this from the docks of Dar es Salaam with the crane lifting it up and floating it in the air and loading it on the deck of the ship. We will record that. We will send you a link to see that. The Minister of Agriculture in Tanzania said that he will attend, he would like to be a keynote speaker, and he would like to, with me, take a bottle of champagne and Christian on the whole of the ship. Because, Scott, how long have they been trying to do this?
At least 30 years.
At least 30 years. So in the U.S. And understand, we're doing it through your port, your city, your state.
When it arrives here, and we are the one that can read it, and the ambassador from Tanzania will come with you.
So we would invite you back when it arrives. It will be a grand occasion here as well. Now, if you think the first container is significant, next slide. If you look at the metrics of this, what we're talking about is that at 500,000 metric tons of harvest, that's 50,000 containers a year. Now wait a minute. If you ain't excited about that, if you know anything about business, I don't know what we can say. Do you know that's 4,000 containers?
That's incredible.
Look at that's 4,000 containers per day.
That's huge.
Now, per month, per month. Thank you. So the issue here is that one port can't handle that, but we want you to be the epicenter of this vast development. And Lieutenant Governor, if you think that's something, check this out. Next slide. Tanzania has asked us, the Minister of Agriculture in Tanzania has asked us to help them industrialize all of their agricultural crops. Starting with the cashew nut subsector, which is what we're defining now. And they asked us, Lieutenant Governor, to add immediately avocados and grapes. But I would like you to, and yeah, just pan this and see the products. Now here's what we will do. We will triangulate this. We will look at these products and we'll say which of these products are not grown, harvested in the U.S., not in Louisiana. We will want to export those from Africa here first. We're going to see what you grow that's not grown in Africa, Tanzania. And we want to see if we can work with you to export the other way. You see, containers like to be full when they come and when they go. Don't bring it to me full and send it back empty. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. I'll tell you, I took an old shipping container and a $7,000 loan from my mother. And my daddy laughed at me and said, somebody would write a car. And I built the first offshore living quarters. When I sold the business, I had 1,000 buildings in the Gulf of Mexico. I had an old shipping container. Wow. I went to Hong Kong and brought Mardi Gras beads back because I couldn't get the high cube containers anywhere here. Yes, sir. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right. So after you do your thing in politics, you come on, join us. We got a place for an entrepreneur.
Can I ask you, why isn't this happened before?
Yeah.
What is the barrier? Is it a question? Is it a trade thing? Is it a government? Is it
Sir, it is the question. May I be honest with you? So, sir, in colonialism, it was about extraction of resources, not providing an opportunity for people to grow and stand on their own. It was a dependency model. It was, I will come and I will get what I want, and that's what's happened, and I leave very little behind. And so, 200 years of colonialism. But I will tell you this, that the sun is shining bright in Africa. I will tell you this, the sun is shining bright. We say a new way in Africa. Amen. We say that Americans will come in partnership, hand in hand, sir. Hand in hand. Not for philanthropic efforts to give, that maybe you can have sustenance farming. We want to create middle class, peace and prosperity in the land, and we want the connection with America and the rest of the world to benefit from it as well. Do you realize that Louisiana, that New Orleans can benefit from the industrialization of Africa? Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that? We spent time, Stephen O'Mara, Scott Karen, who is our Chief Operating Officer, Stephen O'Mara, the President of J.F. Braun, are here to look at ways that we can find warehouses and facilities that allow us to do the U.S. side of industrialization of products from Africa. Working with local entrepreneurs. Creating opportunity for them to expand their services, their capabilities, to create economic value for their markets that they serve, and for them to make a reasonable profit for the work they do. So what I like is, whenever you speak, when you see somebody pull out a piece of paper and write something down, you know you want to keep talking. I'm telling you that, sir. So we will send you this list of props.
Good.
Okay? You will get the entire list. We'll send you this whole presentation. Next slide. Okay, so where are we now? We have launched Tanzanutz in the global market. We've launched it even though the harvest season starts in October. So right now there's no harvest. So we're waiting for, and we have our product supply system built up. So in October, we'll start scale harvest, lots of harvestings. We'll start processing those, and in January of 2023, they'll be ready for selling to the market. However, we do have access to a small quantity of harvestings, and we're processing them now. We're going to be bringing them to the U.S., and we'd like to bring them through New Orleans Port, the city of New Orleans, the state of Louisiana. We want to start the market development of the product now. And when we do that, it creates economic activity in Africa, certainly, but it also creates economic activity at your port, in this city, in this state.
And when they get here, will they be packaged, ready to go to store shelves, or will they have to be repackaged?
There's two ways we will do it. Stephen, Scott, and I are trying to figure this out. There will be some that will be packaged, ready to go, and we call it CPG, consumer packaged goods, and there'll be others that will be wholesale packed that need further processing here. Roasting, coating, packaging here. That is exactly why these two gentlemen are with us on these last 3 days. And there looks to be significant opportunity. So we will do both. We will have fully completed consumer packaged goods that will come in, and we will want to sell them in your retail stores with your street vendors and your yes, and all these wonderful, there's always something going on in Louisiana, sometime and somewhere. Festivals, airports. And so we will be exploring that with you. We're certainly exploring that with the city. We would like to broaden that under your authority and your support. Okay? So that's one thing. And then the idea that there's really three things on this list that are important. The first is that we would like, and it's highlighted in green, we would like to discuss with you and those that you would guide us to actually create a sister state relationship beyond an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, but an agreement. And we would like to sponsor that in a way that makes sense to you. And we would like to the extent that you've expressed possibly you might want to visit Tanzania. We've already expressed that interest in Tanzania, and there are open arms. In Tanzania, they say, Karibu, welcome. They said, please say to you, Karibu, from your, they call it kakas and dadas, brothers and sisters in Tanzania. So we are ready to assist you, sir, in any way that we can be helpful to you to make that happen.
What is it, and if I could, let me interrupt you. What is the best time to make a trip down there? Is there a certain month, time of the year, or?
If I can't really think of something that would be restrictive in terms of time. I'll tell you, if you like hot, if you like rainy, you can take the rainy season. If you like hot, we can tell you where it's scorching hot. But this is Louisiana.
We got it.
So I'm not too worried about that. But I would, if you don't mind, I would like to discuss that with my team, and we'll get back to you on that. But I don't think there's like a negative time. I think that any time that we can get your availability, we can make it work. And so if you would guide us on that in terms of saying, yes, I'm interested, we'd be happy to start working out on your behalf. Okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. Yeah, man. So that's very important. That the sister-port relationship is very important. Sister-state relationship is very important. We are moving forward with the sister-city relationship and the sister-port relationship. And we'll keep you apprised of all of those developments. Right? I will tell you this, sir, that we are actually going to bring the head of the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange and the head of the CMSA. They are to Tanzania like the SEC is to the U.S. They govern the public stock market. We're going to bring them to Wall Street. First time ever. We're going to take them to the NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, and we're going to introduce Tanzania to the global capital markets. And our company is in the process of going public on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange yet this year. So there may be an occasion that might be very suitable for you associated with all of that. So we will work through that and make some suggestions to you. Okay? All right. So what else do I want to talk about? The thing that is important for us is that we believe in the power of servant leaders. And we're here to serve, and we're here to lead. And we will be honored, sir, if we could serve you and lead with you.
Yeah, I'm do it.
Thank you very much.
So what else can I do besides, I'm going to go back and meet with my tourism, my culture people, and see put a little plan together to get to you about what kind of delegation we could bring down there. And then also, as soon as it's appropriate, I would take the whatever the package looks like, some kind of a flyer, and I would reach out to my contacts in all of the stores and saying, is this something, and get some letters of interest from them that they would put this product in their store, which will help you guys say, yes, Rouse is interested, all the supermarket chains in Louisiana that I've had dealing with. I'm over the Seafood Promotion Board, so I deal with all of them. We've actually spent money promoting Louisiana shrimp in stores all the way up, even up in Arkansas and other states. So our seafood promotion lady has contacts in all the supermarkets. So we could get some kind of information on what it is and get a letter of interest from those stores that said, yes, we would be interested in putting this product in our stores, just to kind of open the door as we're going through this process when you tell me it's appropriate to do that. The other thing is, I got a cousin who's a pain, but he owns, he's got more money but he owns a
lot of the warehouses on the river and off the river. He owns Homer's house, Kevin Kelly. But he inherited this all from his father, who stored all the coffee, all the products, all on the river. So as far as warehousing, as it's imported, sometimes it's got to be kept, I don't know the rules to that, in a certain warehouse until it's inspected. But he's heavily involved in all of that, that I can make that connection as well. But I think, too, a good gesture would be to plan whether
That has nothing to do with us.
whether it's whether the time it is when it is the season to plan a trip then, before or after that. But I'll get with my team and get a little plan together of what kind of coalition they would take, both cultural, maybe some of the groups, the Mardi Gras groups, and some of the culture and exactly some of the jazz, and because we've done that all over the world where we've gone. Matter of fact, COVID canceled a trip to Australia and several other countries that we were going with the tourism group. So I'll get with my team that does that and put a little white paper together and get it to you, so you know what we think and then you can say that works, or can we do this or that different.
Thank you, sir.
I got my list, but anything else, and you've got my cell number.
Yes, sir.
So I'm excited about this. I think it's something that could be a real boost for this economy here locally, and just a shining light for Louisiana. So anything along this journey that I can help with, and I don't know the import or the regulations, but I'm also, it's good timing because Troy Carter and Cedric Richmond are dear friends of mine. I know you know them, but they are good Louisiana boys that have the presidency here, as well as any of the barriers that we may face in any of those trade, which I'm not real familiar with. I know one thing, when I went down, I bought a high cube container because when I built it out as a living quarters, I wanted the guy in the top bunk to be comfortable. He had a solid seal and he sweat. Heat rises, so I had to put a 9/6 container. Well, they ran out of them all the way to Florida. I couldn't buy them. So I went to Hong Kong and cut a deal to bring Mardi Gras beads back in. But that was the year that China took over Hong Kong, and nobody wanted to sign a deal because they didn't know how Hong Kong was going to be treated after it left the British rule. So I learned a lot that year about where you can and cannot export things and bring them to this country. So if we need someone from that agency in the federal government, I'm sure I can get Troy and Cedric to help with that. If there are any restrictions or things that we need to know prior to moving forward, I'll be glad to reach out and set that up as well, if that helps.
Thank you, sir. So before you go over, we have something we'd like to present to you. Scott Karen, our Chief Operating Officer, will do that too.
Well, this is a sample of what can be done in Tanzania. People told us you couldn't make a high-end product in Tanzania, consumer product. It's just rubbish. Of course you can't.
Rubbish, I like that.
Right? Of course you can. They said, oh, the people here can't do that. That's just nonsense. So we made this beautiful gift box, and then the packaging. I'll have you open it up.
Wow.
So this is handmade in Tanzania, and then it's inscribed.
Look at that.
So if you read the description.
In this in-country process, a cashew nut provides a sustainable opportunity to improve the lives of 10 people. This commemorative custom-made box and all its contents were grown, produced, sourced, and packaged in Tanzania, demonstrating its people's ability to design products and supply premium consumer products to the global market. Our farms, processors, crafts, and our proudly present these cashews in a limited box and bag for your enjoyment. This is better than we do here. Look at the workmanship. That is unbelievable.
So we have clusters of of small businesses that are making these boxes. Carpenter told us when he made this box, he says, I've been a carpenter for 25 years. He goes, I learned more making this box than I did in 25 years. Because this is a high-end thing. The standards are very high.
That is incredible. I mean, that is beautiful. Look at that. And I just want the box.
And that's why we brought it for you.
This is your box.
Wow.
So this batik bag, the batik fabrics become synonymous with Tanzania. And the women out in the villages make these patterns by hand. So beautiful fabric, and when you look at it, it says Africa, it says Tanzania, when you look at it. Again, Tanzanutz, product of Tanzania. And you my phone. Open it up here for you.
It made you not want to eat the nuts. I want to just put it on my desk and show it off.
The bag's reusable. Once you eat the nuts, the bags. So this bag is a 3-ply. It's a batik on the outside. It's got a cotton lining, and then it's got a waterproof lining on the inside, on the middle. So if something spills on it, it won't go inside. And if you're using it to like carry a baby bottle or something, and it spills on the inside, it won't come out and stay on the outside. So after you eat the cashews, there's a lot of stuff in here. And I'm just going to pull some of these packages out. So each package, this is tourism, each package promotes one of the national parks in Tanzania.
I'm going to have to use that idea here.
So here you've got the water buffalo of Ngora. It's of the Serengeti.
Yeah, that is incredible.
So this is the rhino called Kifaru. So this one is Ngora crater.
So look, I'm going to speak to some third graders in Alexander next week. Can I take this? This would really, and this is a great show and tell.
So we were showing these to the Minister of Tourism in Zanzibar, and each of the things we pull out, it's Simba, the lion. And she rolls her eyes. They got, Zanzibar wants to be more well known too. And so they pull out Simba, and then she pulls out Nyati. Nyati's the buffalo. And then, of course, you get Kiboko, right? And Pundamilia is the zebra. So and she says, these are all mainland animals. She goes, we have animals in Zanzibar. She goes, we have dolphins. And then she pulls out this, and it's the giant tortoise of Zanzibar.
No.
So this is Kobe. This one is going to be made in a smaller packet, but this one is going to be our pollinator, and it's the butterfly. Wow. Okay? Kipepeo. Now the butterfly is going to be the size of a business card, and it's going to be for hospitality. They can put this on the pillow instead of a chocolate. Imagine if we put those on every hotel pillow here, how many people will go over to Tanzania?
That's a great idea.
Here's Tembo, the elephant.
Hey, good Republican, huh?
Well, Pundamilia means it means the striped donkey, because the zebra is just a striped donkey.
That's right.
And this one is a large antelope called kudu.
So let me ask you this. Who came up with all of this?
We hired a team of local graphic designers, and they came up with this. They call this Tanzanian heritage, but it's gorgeous, isn't it?
It really is.
So
it's pretty great.
We didn't outsource it to New York. We did it in Tanzania. More jobs.
Marketing company did that for us.
This is
Now they're part of it.
So here's Tembo. Excuse me, this is Twiga, which is the giraffe.
I'm glad you didn't ask me to pronounce any of those.
This is the symbol of Tanzania. It's on all their aircrafts and things. And then, this is conga. It's a guinea fowl. And then the flamingos. They've got lakes with millions of flamingos. So these are the flamingos of Lake Natron, Tanzania.
That's a heck of a lot.
And this is the leopards, but it's baby leopards for the small package. So we say Chui Mtoto. Mtoto. Mtoto means small. Chewy is the leopard. Mtoto.
So, right, this is all being packaged there.
Yes, it's all being packaged there. We're going to do some packaging in the U.S.
But once you get, when you start shipping container loads in here, and then you start having to grow that supply chain, you're gonna, then you could package both places. But this is pretty, I mean, it's ingenious, not only the nuts, but the different way they package these with the animals and with the map on the back. That's just incredible. So is that my homework to study up?
You don't have to study much, but it tells about what we're doing, tells about the supply chain, it shows the beautiful cashew tree, Tanzania. It tells about what this means to the country. So there's a small brochure for you.
So is the ability to ramp up and do more and more as you sell it, land and availability to do this is pretty,
It's readily available. It's readily available, and they are evolving.
wow.
They're eager for connection with their brothers and sisters in America. And they're a very welcoming country. When we go there, they say, we love America. And then they tell me, you know, I've got a cousin who's in LA, my auntie's in Minnesota. So they know people here, but they really want this person-to-person connection with us. And they're eager to work with us.
So do they have these for sale now, or y'all are just working on it?
So here's what we have. We invite all of you to go to www.tanzanutz, TANZANUTZ, not with an S, Tanzanutz.com. And we have what we call a founder member package that includes what you see here, that you can order.
You know what I'm saying?
Right there,
You get the bag, you get the
Write that
box.
down.
The brochure is in there.
The brochure is in there. Tanzanutz.com. Yes.
More importantly is with that order, you help start to create the change in Tanzania.
More importantly, with that order, according to Scott, you help start the change in Tanzania. But more importantly, you become a part of history.
So can I put that on the website?
Yes, you can. We'll send that to you.
Yeah, because what we'll do is we'll send some pictures, put it out there. We're working with you and on expanding this and working on a trade mission / tourism mission down there. And this is incredible.
Well, and so we have both the founder package and we have the heritage package. The heritage package does not include the box, the wooden box, but it is worth it.
You just solved the problem I have every year. What I'm gonna give for Christmas.
Nah, you got it.
I'm gonna bring this on. Tell my wife get on there and order because we always like to give something unique. This is unique and special.
With these bags, we can do co-branding. So obviously the bag has the Tanzanutz label, but the medallion
Could be
whoever wants to work with us. The little butterfly, Ipe Peo, those would be co-branded with companies.
So we are working with Chef Derek. Where is Chef Derek? Please stand up. And Chef Thaddeus, please stand up and please join us here, please. They are honorary ambassador for the city of New Orleans, and our dear friend Thaddeus, who is a chef extraordinaire. And they're helping us create, now listen to this, a co-brand, Tanzanutz, the taste of New Orleans. And so we are working now on developing that product line, and these two gentlemen will be working with us to create that and bring it to you and the world. So we'll have Tanzanutz, taste of New Orleans. It'll be one of the offerings that we'll be providing. And I want you to know that when we have partners with us, you share in the economic bounty of what we do together.
So let me understand, you asked the congregation, the ministers here to be part of this.
We are asking you all to be a part of it. You can be a part of it by becoming a founding member. Go to www.tanzanutz.com. Become a founding member. Listen to me. Be a founding member or heritage member. And then we also invite you to be an affiliate. An affiliate is where you will be assigned www.tanzanutz.com / whatever your, what is your name, sir?
Reverend Willie L. Calhoun Jr.
Reverend Willie L. Calhoun Jr. Okay? And so you will then send to any of the people that you would want to offer this to, make them be a part of, with you, a part of history. And anyone that will buy the farm, the founder, or the heritage package, you will get a commission to you, credited to you, as an affiliate. So you'll get commission. So what everything we do, we look to share the economic benefit with those that partner with us. Everything.
But one last question, because we're talking about how we want to bring economic development growth to our neighborhoods and communities. How does this impact New Orleans? How does this impact Lower Nine? How does it impact Carrollton in terms of jobs, in terms of economic growth within our communities?
Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody else to sit down. Governor, I'd like to let you stand here. You and I can handle this together.
Councilman?
Well, obviously, just from what I can see, my thought is, as you bring them in, obviously the first orders will come in these packages, but as your volume gets up there, you would have to have a place here. If they send them in 100-pound sacks, the repackaging would have to have a plant here to repackage them. And besides that beautiful box and those packages, someone may want it, like you said, a custom package with their company name. That would all have to be done. Once you start, in my opinion, bringing container loads in, and then people say, well, I'd like them packaged like this, that's where you see the local development of jobs and create opportunities when you start repackaging
I'm
here.
on my way to the meeting down in St. Bernard now about the containerized port that they want to put in Violet. So when I listen to what's being said and what's all that's going on, I know Plaquemine is trying to do a containerized port down there. So when I listen at what I hear is competition between Plaquemine, St. Bernard, and I'm trying to get to a real understanding as to if we're talking about, and it sounds good that we're going to have these containers coming in full of cashew nuts and all that. But I'm not hearing the real strategy. I hear some things coming out of you, Governor. But I really wanted to hear what is the strategy? What's the realistic timeline we're looking at? Now, if you're telling me to go to the website and I can find it there, I can appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I tried when I was president of Plaquemines Parish to expand the port as a regional port. And so we would put what worked in Plaquemines, what worked in St. Bernard, We're the only port in the world that's got 5 ports competing against each other. Right. And instead of working as a team effort to develop what goes best where, because we got 100 miles of river in Plaquemines Parish, we've been cutting grass forever with really little no development that supports the economy down there. But that river ought to be a gold mine for the whole state of Louisiana. When you look at Houston, it supports, I think, 3.2 billion jobs over there. It's incredible what they've done working as a regional port to expand the growth there. We're not going to put it there because we don't own the land. It's got to be a regional approach. And when I was parish president, I tried to add a seat on the Port of New Orleans for Plaquemines and St. Bernard, so it would be a regional thing, and then get that done. But I think we need to put it where it best serves for business and for the people, and not try to just pick, and I think that's been a problem politically in the past.
Go into more detail, because my understanding is we're looking at Mobile coming in here to operate the port. That's being talked about for Plaquemine.
Well, when I was parish president, we lost 11 companies to Alabama because Plaquemines, and I love them to death, but it's the only port in the world that's run by council government. And because they couldn't get 5 votes to accept these businesses in the parish, they went elsewhere. And so, if you take...
That's the same thing happened with the port here. It was cheaper to go around New Orleans to Houston to unload. My father was a longshoreman. I spent a lot of time on the river. So right now, and this is what I say often, when I grew up, I saw black men going to work every day. They had 10,000 men hitting the riverfront every day. We got less than 500 longshoremen in the union now. So it speaks volumes to me when I hear about we're going to do this and we're going to do that. I like details, but I know we don't have time for details. So we can.
Well, I don't think we have the details yet of what this could mean. What and I don't want to speak for anyone, but what I'm excited about is that partnership that they're going to come through New Orleans. And then as the more volume gets up, and they say, well, we're going to send 100-pound sacks, and I want to speak for you, because Joe's Crab Shack wants them under his thing, and that'll be packaged here locally, and we'll open a facility here to do that work here. But I think getting the trade mission together, getting the marketing teams exposed here, and getting them in some facilities opens up that door for growth of getting them in here, repackage them, and I think there's a lot of other things that we haven't even thought about that this could expand to. But I don't think right off the bat you're going to see them open a plant until we've got the volume coming in and there's need to diversify into different markets and packaging and whatever, Superdome or whatever. But you could see all kind of things because it's obviously they put a lot of time and effort in that package. So the quality of what they're producing, I'm blown away by that. So I think there's a real opportunity.
The timeline for, I'm going to have a magnitude of the containers, 4,000 plus containers coming in here a month. Our port, relative to what we currently handle, will that cause an expansion of the port, or are we ready to accept with our existing structures 4,000 additional? So I'm looking at it, this gentleman is.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Lieutenant Governor and Councilman, I would like you to keep your spin on this because I don't know local politics. But I do know this. I know business.
I do want to just emphasize, I'm always, the glass is more than half full. I'm Eugene Green, I'm the city councilman for District D, but I'm also the former head of economic development for the city under Mayor Morial. I've also served on the Regional Business Park Board of Directors and also been the chairman of the president of the Regional Business Park Board of Directors. There's a lot going on in the city of New Orleans that suggests that we can support that kind of expansion. Right here in New Orleans East, we have, well, a little bit out of New Orleans East, we have the world's largest coffee roasting facility, Folger. They bring in raw product through our port. It's processed, it goes throughout the nation, but it stops here first. And it's a good example of the fact. That was good. But the bottom line is that we have the capacity to do that here in the city of New Orleans and on a regional level, to bring in 4,000 containers, and if that's what it takes, we'll get it done. So I just want to say that I'm here in behalf of the city, but it's just coincidence that I was the head of the regional business park because we built a substation for Folger, and Folger is continuing to do expansion, significant expansion. And that can happen here too, but it's got to get started somewhere. There was once a day when Folger was very small here in New Orleans. Now it's the largest in the country, in the world, in terms of the actual output, in terms of the coffee roasted. So, Lieutenant Governor, I'm a member of the city's Economic Development Committee, but I just come here to say that whatever we can do to work together, to make that happen. I am biased toward the New Orleans port, the port of New Orleans. You can imagine.
Well, that's why they're trying to expand into St. Bernard. I went to Panama with Ray Dagan's team way back when, and they didn't even know Plaquemines exist. So I was all in favor of New Orleans helping develop the port in Plaquemines. Because if they build something in Plaquemines, the people down there are going to benefit. They couldn't understand it. They thought they were giving something to New Orleans. So New Orleans developing and having the foresight to go into St. Bernard and develop a port that maybe they don't have the resources to do is going to expand the ability to handle plenty of containers. And we all know with the larger ships, there is an issue with getting them under the bridge to offload where those cranes are. So I applaud New Orleans and the port for looking to expand because we've got 100 miles of river that ought to be developed. And it doesn't matter whether it's the Port of New Orleans or Port of St. Bernard, as long as we put what best serves the community, adds jobs and economic growth, everybody benefits from that.
Commissioner, come on up.
Yes. How you doing, Governor?
Good to see you.
From another project. We gotta get back together on that one. But, I heard Alicia Plummer, I am one of the commissioners on the New Orleans Regional Business Park. I'm also the vice president of New Orleans East Business Association. So what I want to say is, when I heard these gentlemen on the radio yesterday talking about, you know, their business and their company, I called immediately because I want them to know I invited them to come to the New Orleans Regional Business Park. It used to be called No Bid, used to be called AMID, and I think it needs to go back to that name, Almanac-Mission Industrial District, so people will know that it is an industrial park. We're ready for you. We have warehouse space. If you need a building, you can start with that. I have a building for them. But we need to start where it's going to really affect. No disrespect to your cousin.
No, I'm just saying. Well, he's got more money he can spend. He don't even like me. But I just know he's got all them warehouses that are empty on the river.
We also got space down in the lower Night.
Right.
There you go.
We welcome you.
Thank you.
I think there's a real opportunity. I'm excited.
Ready for you to east.
North, south, east, and west.
I also want to say that the New Orleans Regional Business Park is located in an enterprise zone and also an opportunity zone and also a hub zone. So that's why a few businesses have chosen to locate there. Let me tell you, Folger Coffee Company, I know that there was an issue regarding property taxes, but that's gone. Folger Coffee Company loves New Orleans. And since the Regional Business Park, when I was the president, built that electric substation for them, they've invested over $1 billion in their facility. And there's more room to go because the market continues to expand for a variety of reasons. So I just want to pledge that in behalf of the city council, but also in behalf of just myself in terms of the economic development experiences that I've had in the project that I've made happen. Mr. Lieutenant Governor, you working on the state level, I will working on the city level. Let's come together and make this happen because this is not only the launch of your product, but it's the launch of a new way of thinking in terms of doing business with Tanzania. We just don't do enough business. So let's do more.
Thank you all so much.
So, one other thing, Chef, would you have a couple of product samples you can share? We'll just give to the lieutenant governor and the councilman. And so those of you that have a history of hostess, we're early stage of looking at how we develop the taste of New Orleans. So these are just a couple of samples that come from.
We try to get
that. Go ahead and I want to Yeah, so Scott is going to go grab some raw cashews that he can hand out for any of you on the way out. If you want to try some cashews, you can try cashews. So let me say this to where is Reverend? Okay. I say this, and I hope you don't take offense. Let me say it to the congregation. You all have wonderful questions. Look, we have been fought with broken promises and dreams. You know, we're creating a video series in Africa that'll be a part of, if you buy our founder package or our heritage package. It's 12 vignettes. It says, broken promises, dreams to be realized. And we probably could do that here in New Orleans as well. Yes. You probably could, right? But we want to show you that from the motherland. And we should look at, is there a story here? And Reverend says there is a story here. And we will make that vignette series available to you as to rediscover. Do you realize that God planted the seed of humankind in the Ngorongoro area of Tanzania? Do you know that Tanzania remains Garden Eden-like today? But that's not what the West tells us. That's not the Africa. Have you heard about that Africa? Have you heard about Mount Kilimanjaro? Have you heard about Lake Victoria? Have you heard about the Serengeti? Madagascar? Have you heard about Zanzibar? Have you heard about the beautiful white sand beaches? The crisp, clear Indian Ocean. Tanzania is a tropical country. It is like being in the Caribbean. Have you heard that? Tanzania has the largest concentration of large mammals on the world. Elephants, lions, tigers, cheetahs, buffalo. They still do the migration of the wildebeest in Tanzania. Have you heard about that, Tanzania? We want to open up, sir, with your help, Lieutenant Governor, bilateral tourism for Tanzania.
I'll go back and work on it tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The story to be told. Please go on the website, www.tanzanutz with a Z, tanzanutz.com. And please join us in this historic time.
I'm sure I got an elephant too.
Oh, we got an elephant.